Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're live here on the Iron Thunder Racing Network, live from Daytona International Speedway. The Do It for Gayle duels here, duel number one, getting set to roll off here. We will set that starting lineup for you momentarily. Joining me in the booth tonight will be Sawyer and Roger Debold. Bring those guys in just a moment, taking care of admin duties. So we'll start walking you through that starting lineup. Starting in row number one to the inside of the 87 Pennsylvania driver, also known as Raymond Rittenauer. Who is outside the 91 of Jackson Allen. Row number two, Sean Bounty, Matt Cherry to the outside. Woodlawn, Virginia's Kevin Hash in row number three, Kyle Weatherman to the outside. Row number four, Josh Ball and Patrick Langley. Row five, Tressenot, David Jedlicka, the 82. Row six, Alex Littleman and Raman in the 44. Row seven will be BJ Hash and Adam Strom. Row number eight, the 69 of Matt Hendricks to his outside in the 42. It'll be J.D. Bailey. Row number nine, we'll see the 66 of Jess Nilsson, the 12 of Andy Kosalova. Row 10, Randy Caldwell, the 18, Justin White, and the 88. And starting shotgun on the field, the number 10, that'll be Doug George. As the lights have been extinguished at the top of the iRacing.com Ford Mustang, and the field rolling now just out of turn number four. We'll see that pace car dip off the speedway. Green flag in the air. Duel number one underway.
Ray Rittenauer get out to a big lead there. The 87 got the pole for this race. And we've got Kevin Hash tucked up right underneath him in the 03 machine.
Looks like everybody's single filing out here down on the bottom. Guys on the top are going to be stuck. They're going to have to find a way in.
Yeah, real interesting to see everybody single out like that with this cup package. Figured it would be two, maybe three wide by this point, but I'm sure they'll get packed up here before too long. 87 Ray Rittenauer leads Kevin Hash in that 03 machine. 91 of Jackson Allen right there in third. Rookie Josh Ball behind him. Tressenot in fifth as the top five kind of break away just a little bit.
Interesting to see this single file this early on. So these guys may be content just to ride it out a little bit here.
Looks like Matt Hendricks is trying to make the outside lane work, and now he's back in line.
Yeah, 40 laps in this race. I'm sure these guys are just biding their time. You know, no quick fixes, as we said, so no sense in tearing anything up this early on. We'll probably get, hopefully get to the first round of green flag pit stops, and they'll start to shake it up a little bit. Everybody seems content to just sit there in line and just log some laps here at Daytona. First time on the track and race conditions, so I'm sure they're just getting a feel for the cars right now.
In a very different position than what we normally see for the top two, Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer. Normally here at Super Speedways, they kind of migrate to the back of the speedway early on, but with just 40 laps, it's like their strategy is to stay up front early and often.
Looks like there's going to be an outside line coming up in the back. See if they can make it work.
Yeah, just 21 cars entered here tonight, so smaller field than what we're used to seeing. I'm sure those guys at the back are, waiting for a wreck, but they gotta be careful not to lose the draft. If this thing does go green, they could end up in a bad situation, getting off sequence with those guys. But yeah, like you said, we're used to seeing 87 and Kevin Hash making their charge to the front late in the race, but I guess with the good track position, they just elected to stay up here and try to hold it.
We'll see that 66 newcomer Jeff Nielsen, followed by the 82 of David Jedlicka, making their way up through the field here, trying to make that outside lane work.
Yeah, we see the outside line kind of starting to form there. Like you said, Jedlicka pushing that 66. They're getting a good run as you see them making their way. Trestonot thinking about jumping up there. Not in time. He's going to have to dip back down. The 66 making a lot of move, or a good move right there to get outside of the fourth place car, Josh Ball. He's got some more help back there with Randy Caldwell and newcomer Doug George. So maybe they can get together and maybe get the lead on the outside line.
Lap 5, 6 on the board now, 35 to go. We'll see that top lane forming now. They'll charge, pull even as Jackson Allen has moved up. He'll look to even up beside the 87 Ray Rittenauer. And Josh Ball will have to catch back up to the back end of that 03 machine.
Yeah, good move by Jackson Allen to get up there in front of those guys with momentum. They kind of stalled out right there. We know how good that 03 and that 87 machine are together. They've worked together a lot at these super speedways and have had a lot of success. And they're going to be hard to defend, but those guys on the outside are trying to make something work as the bottom's kind of starting to separate a little bit.
66 of Nielsen. He'll jump down to the bottom behind that 7 of Ball. That'll leave 3 cars at the top of the speedway. That third car in line on the top in Doug George, who started shotgun on the field.
Yeah, really impressive by the 66 and the 10, like you said, starting in the back and making their way up into the top 10 currently. I'm not sure if iRacing changed something with the Speedway package or just the tire model overall, but it's definitely a different style of racing than we're used to seeing here at the Super Speedways. As you see the kind of starting to separate into 2 packs. Trestonot there in the 36 kind of caught in the middle in no man's land. But, yeah, overall, they're not seeing the runs that we're quite used to, especially at night condition, cooler track. The outside line's really struggling to get going, it seems like, even with the cars bunched up closer together. And you see Randy Caldwell and Doug George kind of falling off the top 6 there as the top 6 are packed up quite tight.
Another thing I'm noticing too, as new leader, the 7 of Josh Ball, as 91 Jackson Allen gave him a good push there. Got a lot of moving. These cars are moving a lot laterally here tonight, more back and forth than what we're normally seeing. Maybe these are a little bit hard to handle, not quite sure, but definitely doing more than sneaking out to get a little bit of extra air there.
Yeah, that's a strong statement right there by the rookie 7 car Josh Ball to lead his first lap here in ITRL competition and take that lead from the 87. But he had a lot of help, and as soon as he dropped down, that outside line just fell apart. And they're falling back hard now. But it seems like it's going to be a track position game, and the bottom line is definitely where you want to be.
As we get work out of turn number 4, we put lap 10 on the board. We Josh Ball, Raymond Rittenauer, Kevin Hash, Jeff Nielsen, Doug George, the top 5. Jackson Allen, David Jedlicka, Randy Caldwell, Trestonot, Matt Cherry, Jackson Allen. Flip through time and screen.
Yeah, Grissom and Roger, we'll come back to 30 laps to go here next time. We'll have to get an update on the fuel window, but these guys further back, probably need to get organized a little bit better if they want to try to get up there and contend for the lead.
And we talk about that fuel window too. Is they don't need to be running through some green flag pit stops there. Those guys are gonna too far back, and they're gonna be hampering themselves for the rest of the race.
It's going to be interesting when we make some green flag stops here. Who stays out longer and who short pits and how this thing's going to turn out.
Always love it when strategy comes into play, especially here at Daytona. And most of the time it's track position strategy-wise. And we'll see if we can get some pit stop strategy strung in our first duel here tonight to do it for Gayle. Duel number 1, live from Daytona.
Yeah, and shout out to Matt Hendricks for coming on board and sponsoring these twin dual 125s we got here tonight. Do it for Gayle, one of our own, Chris Gayle. Shout out to him. And yeah, Matt put up $10 to each of these. As you see, the 42 car actually got in the wall back there behind Jackson Allen. Got a little bit of right side damage there, 3 wide further in the back. No caution, no harm, no foul there. He definitely hurt his speed. But yeah, that could have been a big moment right there.
And we talk about Gayle, one of our own, had a tough year last year, and good to see him last night, starting the year off with a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I think he was going to be able to run this season, and everything played itself out right, and had a strong run in the All-Star race coming up P2 to Bailey Curry, and then, yeah, P3 last night at Irwindale Speedway for the ITRL Rush Series.
"13 of 40, 28 laps remain, single file at the front of the field. Josh Ball continues to lead. He has led 5 laps so far. As we check on that fastest lap of the race, it belongs to J.D. Bailey in the 42 on lap number 3 at a 44.647.
Yeah, speaking of the 42 of J.D. Bailey, it doesn't seem like that damage has really hurt him. He has fallen almost to the back, him and B.J. Hash at the rear of the field, but he did get some right side damage from making that contact with the wall while there a couple laps prior. But yeah, it looks like hearing from pit road, these guys should be on pit road in the next 5 to 6 laps. So I'm sure that's on these guys' mind. They're probably going to try to run it as long as they can here to maybe make it on 1 or possibly 2 stops at a minimum. But if they stop any shorter than that, they may have to make 3, which is not the strategy you want, especially with this race. It seemed like it wants to go green.
Coming up out of that lap car on right in front of Josh Ball. Not quite sure what happened with Sean Bounty. Matter of fact, I believe he was fastest in practice along with the 7 of Josh Ball. So going down the lap here on lap 15 is the 34 of Sean Bounty. He'll be the first and only car 1 lap down in the 21st spot.
Oh, tough spot there for the 82. Dave Jedlicka kind of getting forced up 3 wide. Use the looks like those guys use the 34 machine lap car as a pick, but at least they sorted out there and didn't have a big wreck. Yeah, that's very unusual for Sean Bounty. We're used to seeing him up front no matter what the track, super speedway, road course, short track, you name it. Was very fast last season, had a couple of wins in his rookie year in the Cup Series, and yeah, he must have just been trying to play it safe there to ride in the back, and unfortunately may have lost the draft. And now he's 1 lap down, but fortunately he's the only car lap down. If we were to get a caution, he would get that lucky dog free pass and be right back in. So he's just kind of riding and hoping for that yellow right now. That's all he can do.
Lap 17 about to go on the board.
Yeah, these guys definitely going to have to pit here in about the next 3 to 4 laps, we're saying. So keep an eye on pit road. It's probably about to get busy. Guys getting up on the wall right now. As you see, the kind of the two distinct packs at this point starting to separate as everybody's pretty much single file.
Josh Ball continuing to lead the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. Keep an eye out on the front of the field here. 66 of Nilsson all over the back deck lid of that 03 machine.
Yeah, right behind Jackson Allen, between him and Patrick Langley, pretty substantial gap compared to all the other cars. It just seems like these cars aren't really sucking up like we're quite used to seeing in the runs that we've had in the past last couple seasons with this specific Cup package. So very interesting that it's something's definitely changed on iRacing side. As we hear some guys starting to signal, they are hitting pit road this time. We're going to see green flag stops right here, Chris.
And it'll be interesting to watch. A little tricky getting on pit road here after carrying so much speed, getting down to that 55 mile an hour.
Majority of the field hit pit road. A lot of guys sliding the tires, getting on hard on the brakes. Nobody went around. Oh, JD Bailey, the 42 going around.
Oh, a little contact getting into the pit stall there.
Unfortunate there for the 42. Just locked him up, slid around. Didn't look like he hit anything, but he's definitely going to be off the pace because of that. Pit road was very crowded right there. A few guys did stay out, so I'm sure they'll be hitting pit road right here.
It's like Raymond Rittenauer out first.
We got David Jedlicka showed as the leader right here. He's going to hit pit road, along with Matt Hendricks. Gets in the back of Kyle Weatherman there. Matt Cherry, Mon and Raman, Alex Little all hit pit road with the lap car of Sean Bounty. Matt Hendricks got a little squirrely. They didn't get all the brakes as hard as Kyle did, and a little damage to the rear of that 6 machine.
It looks like the two of Alex Little got a piece of the 69 as well. He had trouble getting on the binders coming down.
Two of the 44 still struggling to get in their pit stop right now. Looks like they were out of the box. 44 is still trying to back up. Big, horrible break for the 44 machine as he cannot get in the box right there. Looks like he's got it pointed. That's going to cost him a ton of time.
Yeah, it's such a shame when you get into the box, especially if you're too far to the left or the right where you have to back up or pull forward to recenter is definitely worse than, you know, something as simple as if you just stop short and just have to roll forward, or you go a little bit too long and just have to pop it in reverse.
It's like we'll be coming back to halfway right here, boys. This race is going by pretty fast. No cautions yet. A lot of guys are strung out now after those green flag stops, so be interesting if they can keep it clean and green for the rest of the way or if they're going to shake it up here late. As that puts Kevin Hash at the top of the board with Ray Rittenauer, Randy Caldwell, and Josh Ball in a 4-car pack breakaway by a good margin over 5th place.
Tough break for the 66 of Nilsson, who was in that lead pack. He is down a lap here. He'll join Sean Bounty 1 lap down in the 20th spot as the leaders go storming by on the back straightaway.
Yeah, best chance for him now is to hang on to that 4-car pack and hope for a caution and get a lucky dog.
Yeah, he's in the right spot right now if we were to get a yellow. But, yeah, after green flag stops, everybody's made it. They're taking their service. So, Mon and Raman in the 44, J.D. Bailey, like you said, 66, Jeff Nilsson. Unfortunate after that round. Those guys are definitely behind the 8 ball and are in desperate need of a yellow flag here.
They reset it a little bit here. Kevin Hash, Ray Rittenauer, Randy Caldwell, Josh Ball, Matt Cherry to top 5, Jackson Allen, Patrick Langley, Kyle Weatherman, David Jedlicka, and Matt Hendricks round out your top 10 with 19 to go.
Yeah, and everybody's been broken up now. We got this 4-car pack with the lap car up front, but then you go back a little bit further and it's just a handful of 2-car packs. They're starting to actually gather up further back with Kyle Weatherman leading what's the biggest pack on the speedway right now in 8th place. So it'll be interesting to see if all these smaller packs can get together and maybe run down that lead pack of 4.
Speaking of Weatherman, a little left side damage on the rear end of that machine doesn't seem to be hampering him too much, as he's got the 6 in the wind with Matt Hendricks, Tresson out in tow, David Jedlicka trying to catch up to the rear end of the 36 machine.
Yeah, the 6 and the 69 got together there getting on pit road, but it doesn't, like I said, doesn't seem to be hurting them any. As you see, these packs are starting to get together. They'll have at least about a 10, maybe 12-car pack after it's all said and done. And but with 6 seconds, they're 6 seconds behind that top 4. They're kind of running out of time if they want to run these guys down.
Yeah, their best option is going to be to all line up, hit the bottom, and try to run down that lead pack if there's any chance of being there at the end.
Weatherman and Hendricks did a good job of catching that second pack. Now 91 of Jackson Allen is trying to get him filed up, single file behind him, ducks to the road to try to run down this main pack. They're about a 6-second difference between Allen and your leader, Kevin Hash, at the moment.
Tough. Patrick Langley kind of shifting all over the track right there. Got down into the 48 of Matt Cherry and then up into the 36 of Tristan I. I don't know if he's having an issue or what, but that was almost a big issue right there. As that pack is completely separated now. Probably ruined any chance that pack had of running the leaders down.
Yeah, that was a big scramble there of everybody scattering all around, getting in the wall, down on the apron. Looks like Matt Hendricks is going to come out on the losing side of that one as he's lost that pack.
Yeah, unfortunate to see for a lot of those guys. I don't know if the 20 of Patrick Langley has an issue or what, but he just rode around the top there that last lap. I don't know if he's having a technical issue or what, but definitely cost a lot of guys a lot of time there. So maybe they get it gathered back up, but that's already cost them a second. Probably going to cost them more before it's all said and done on the leaders. As Kevin Hash will lead another lap with 15 to go here. And duel number 1, do it for Gayle, Twin 125, Daytona Speedway to kick off speed weeks for the ITRL Premier Series. So we know how well those two guys work together. I'm sure they're committed to the last lap until one of them can try to secure the victory. But you got Randy Caldwell, another rookie. He ran some truck race. He actually won a truck race at North Wilkesboro, but rookie in the Premier Series. You know, he's hungry to get his name out there, as well as Josh Ball. And then you got the lap car, Jeff Nelson. So see if he can help any of those other guys get up there and spoil the party with Rittenhour and Hash. But if we don't get a caution, this is going to be the battle for the win right here.
And 18 of Caldwell, I'm familiar with him in other leagues. Fairly good at these super speedway races. So he'll definitely be one to keep your eye on the rest of the night and when we head in to the big one next Tuesday night.
Yeah, 5th place Jackson Allen now back to about 8 seconds. So they're definitely losing time on the leaders and running out of laps to get it back going.
Down to 13 to go as they work their way out of turn number 4. Sight set on 12 to go here. And I was looking at that deal with the 20 of Langley. For a moment, it looked like the 34 may have got the rear end of the 20 loose. But whatever transpired after that, not quite sure, as Langley was well on the outside. But nonetheless, that pretty much sealed the fate for those guys. Is right now it's all up to Kevin Hash, Rittenauer, Caldwell, and Josh Ball.
As we see the leaders hitting pit road right here.
Oh, Josh
Jeff
Ball
Nielsen.
gonna get punted.
Wow, the lap. That's going to cause a caution with the 7 car sitting sideways on the front stretch. Unfortunate to see that. Oh, the 12 was unable to see the 7 sitting there. That is really unfortunate.
Big contact there.
I mean, I threw the caution as soon as he spun. He was sitting there for a long time there. And well, that's going to throw a wrench in this race. I didn't think about them having to make one more green flag stop. But, yeah, Jeff Nielsen, unfortunately, getting into the back of the 7 right there and just, I don't know, couldn't get on pit road fast enough. Can't really say much more. And then wouldn't have been that bad until the 12 came along and just absolutely killed the 7 car.
Yeah, just did on board there with 12 and had some guys move out of the way right in front of him, and really not enough time to get out of the way. Just about to say, you know, how proud I was of these guys for making it so far without a caution, and especially as the tight racing that we see here at Daytona International Speedway. We are down to 10 to go. We'll have to reset the field for you as soon as everybody crosses the start-finish line.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to end the night for the 7 car, Josh Ball, as he lost the motor there, and probably end the night for the 12 as well. Possibly the 66. He would have been the lucky dog, but because of that, the 34, Sean Bounty, will be back in the lead lap here. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's actually going to help out the 87, the 03, those 2 guys. Maybe the 18. I don't know what happened to him and all that. But they had just hit pit road when the caution came out, so they should have been able to get their service and maintain their track positions. Looks like maybe the 91 of Jackson Allen is elected to stay out here.
I'm showing Allen as your leader. I'm also showing Allen has pitted. Maybe it'll straighten out once we cross the start-finish line here.
Yeah, Kevin Hash will be your leader here with Randy Caldwell in second, Ray Rittenauer in third. Monin Rahman's going to be fourth here with Matt Cherry in fifth. So everybody should be good to the end here on fuel. Lights out on the pace car, coming back to the green flag with, I believe, 8 laps to go, and we will have 1 attempt at a green-white checker. So this is go time. If you're back there, fifth, sixth on back, it's no more time for riding.
It was a huge turnaround for that 44 after being marred in the pit stall trying to get that thing in there for service. So Monin Rahman is happy to see that caution.
Yeah, absolutely. And looks like the 12 still sitting on pit road of Andy Koslova, filling in actually for Paul Smith in that ride. Andy will race in the second duel for his own entry. So not what he wanted. Not what Paul wanted. Not what Andy wanted, unfortunately, for him. Josh and Jeff as well. So those three guys definitely not going to leave here with the result they wanted. But yeah, we still got to fight for the win here and fight for a starting spot of third if you win this in the big race next week.
It's going to be an interesting one here. I definitely think Raymond Rittenhauer is sitting in the catbird seat, but definitely do not count out Matt Cherry. He definitely knows how to get around this racetrack very well.
Yeah, I think it couldn't have worked out any better for Kevin Hash and Ray Rittenauer being lined up on the bottom here. His pace car's off. Green flag's in the air. Good start by the 18 of Randy Caldwell. See if they can get anything going on the top side. He's out there by himself there with no help, though.
Here for a moment, I thought he may run that 03 and catch him down into turn 1, but he'll fall in single file between Rittenauer and Rahman as they exit turn number 2 down the backstretch. Caldwell just a bit off of that back bumper, the 87. See who's going to be the first to make the move to the outside.
Yeah, unfortunate for the outside line there. They just couldn't really get anything going, and that played right in the hands of Hash and Rittenauer, who have dominated this race. We just got 7 laps to go. We'll come back to 6. Caldwell sitting right there in third with Rahman behind him. Has got a yellow flag further back in the field.
That old adage, cautions breed cautions. 69 of Matt Hendricks, 34 Sean Bounty, who just got back on the lead lap involved.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Looks like Matt Hendricks is just pushing the 6 of Kyle Weatherman and getting into turn 1, just drifts it up, hit the wall, and nowhere to go for Sean Bounty there. Just got collected. And that's going to be hard damage for both of those drivers. Jeff Nielsen was able to sneak by there. He should be the lucky dog after all that. But yeah, looks like the night's going to be over for the 34 and the 69 machines.
Tough break for both of those guys as we are down to 6 laps to go, 35 of 40 on the board. 2 cautions so far tonight. We're working our second caution. Kevin Hash has led 13 laps. We've had 9 lead changes. And Doug George on lap 23, your fastest lap of the race, with a 44.439. Hash, Rittenauer, Caldwell, the top 3. Monin Rahman, Matt Cherry, Tressenant, Patrick Langley, Jackson Allen, David Jedlicka, Alex Little make up the top 10. We go down to 5 to go this time by. 1 attempt at the green-white checker if we need it. You got to think too, these guys in that second duel, and yourself up here, able to see how stuff has played out so far, be able to use it to your advantage come time to strap in a race car for the second duel.
Yeah, absolutely. Much different racing than I expected. Like we've talked about already with this Cup package at the super speedways. Big runs is what we're used to, accustomed to seeing. Big runs, 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide tight pack racing. But yeah, I don't know what's changed on iRacing side, but tonight we just haven't really seen that. It's kind of more of the old style, the low downforce package that we saw a couple years ago at the super speedways. So definitely something I didn't expect, but definitely going to keep it in the back of my head. Bottom line is definitely dominant where you want to be, and you don't want to get hung out there on the top with no help, or you're going to go to the back for sure. So different race than we're quite used to seeing, but really clean. Good race there for the first 30 laps, and then just all hell's kind of breaking loose here, and we may not be done wrecking, but it looks like this probably might, I don't know. Let's see. We'll get 4 to go right here. So we might have a regulation green, white checker, or 3-lap shootout, but we still have that one attempt at a green, white checker.
And I'm starting to wonder just a little bit too. Maybe saw a little bit last year. Top lane never really was dominant, but it also too depended on who was on the top side. Seemed like there was a few guys that could push the envelope and make things work a little better, just because of their driving style once they got on the top side. And for the first time in a while, we're going to see that 03 and 87 not behind each other here. So it'll be interesting to restart, and sure it won't take long for the 87 to find the rear bumper of the 03. Ash, Rittenauer, Codwell, Rahman, Cherry, your top 5. Biot, Langley, Allen, Edlika, and Little, top 10. J.D. Bailey, TJ Hash, Adam Strong, Kyle Weatherman, Justin White, the top 15. Doug George, Jeff Nielsen, Matt Hendrick, Sean Bounty, Andy Consolova, and Jason Ball, your 21-car field. With 4 to go.
Yeah, it looks like the 34 will exit this race and join the 12 and the 7. Unfortunate for those guys. They'll have a lot of work to do next week in the big race. Matt Hendrick's still out there off the pace. Definitely got a lot of damage, but still 18 cars in the lead lap. As we get a three-lap shootout here in regulation time. If we get one more yellow before we get to the white, we will have another restart. But this could be the final restart of the night of Duel 1. Pace car is away. Green flags in the air. Good jump by the 03. 18, Caldwell right on him. Ray Rittenauer did not get the help from Rahman behind him that he wanted. He's going to drop down in behind the 18. And the 3-car breakaway of 3 guys we've seen up front all night are going to jump out in front.
Would normally say a good spot for the 18 to be, but not quite here, because he's going to have to watch and wait somebody, as he did. The 48 jumps up there, and the 36
big push by the 48 there.
May have worked better in his favor than I expected.
Yeah, big run by Matt Cherry right there. He slammed into the back of the 18, got him going. Both lines have 4 cars right there, all tightly together. If they can hold it together, we get 2 to go right here. I think we're going to have a race, boys.
I think it's going to take exactly what Matt Cherry is doing on that top side. There's going to have to be a lot of aggression and laying back and maybe pounding the back into that 18 to get a run. Will be tough, as you got Rittenauer and Hash locked up on the bottom.
Big contact.
Caution is out. Big wreck, big wreck. Cars flying up in the air. That just tore up a lot of sheet metal, boys.
A lot of work going to have to go on with these sparks everywhere on the speedway. We'll get to
yeah,
replay.
Unfortunately, I think we kind of saw that coming there. For the last couple laps there, Matt Cherry was just doing all he could, pushing the hell out of that 18 car, and just kind of hooked him going on the backstretch, turned him, and just all hell broke loose from there. Hard hits by the 48, the 82. Jedlicka goes flying up in the air. Just, man, everybody from 5th on back looks like they got a piece of that. Not going to be many cars left. The 3, the 2, 48, 82, 44, 36 involved. The 9, the 18, 10. A lot of carnage in that, Chriso.
You take a look from the blimp here. trying to push aggressively, and this is like he tapped the wrong side, that being the right side bumper of the 18. Randy Caldwell did everything he could do to save it, and it's unfortunate. 48 comes back up the racetrack and did Lika off the catch fence there.
Yeah, unfortunately, looks like I think everyone back got a piece of that. I think it'd be easier to name who didn't get involved. The 03, he's obviously still in the lead with Ray Rittenauer in second, Langley in third, Jackson Allen in fourth, J.D. Bailey in the 42, he'll be fifth, and Kyle Weatherman in sixth. I think those are the only 6 cars that don't have damage now. A lot of cars on pit road. The hammers are out. The bare bonds out. They're going to try to get these things patched up as best they can. We're only going to have a 2-lap shootout here as we're going to go into overtime for one attempt at a green-white checker.
A lot of work going on. Guys scrambling.
Yeah, interesting. The 10 and the 66 look to stay out there. The 10 has got heavy damage on the front end. The 66 is not so bad. He's got the right front's crinkled up. But that 10 is definitely going to be a parachute when we get back going. Surprised to see him not hit pit road there.
Have J.D. Bailey back there in fifth after having trouble on pit road on that first pit stop there.
Yeah, nice recovery by him and Kyle Weatherman, who got some rear end damage from one of his green flag stops. So those guys have recovered nicely. But honestly, the top 4, not surprised by any of these 4 drivers. All winners in this league, and a champion in Ray Rittenauer. But you know, Patrick Langley, he's hungry to get back in victory lane. Took a year off last season. He's back. He's hungry. New team, new manufacturer, but we know how aggressive he can get. And Jackson Allen, he actually took the Premier Series off last season as well. So those 2 drivers back after a little break. They're going to have to go through the veterans of Hash and Rittenauer if they want to get this win.
Definitely in tough competition, tough company with those 2, and with City 03 of Hash. He'll elect to start on that outside this time, and 18 of Caldwell gave everybody a good run for their money on that last restart, and Hash is going to switch it up a little bit here. 87 may drop back just a little bit, allow him to get down in front, and I'm going to be really impressed if anybody gets on that second lane and makes anything work after the aggression we've already seen not pay off already.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I'm sure the 87 and the 03 are going to work together here on this restart to try to get them a 1-2 finish. But you got 2 Fords lined up in the second row. Just talked about those guys. And then a pair of rookies in row 3 with Kyle Weatherman, J.D. Bailey. And that kind of ends the cars without damage, or at least heavy damage. And then anyone past them, I think they're just going to try to get all they can and get the best finish for a better starting spot next week. But be 1 lap, 1 attempt at a green-white checkered here. If we get a caution before we get back to the white, the race will end under yellow. But if we get the white, and even if they do wreck, they will have to race it back to the checkered flags. So, gonna get wild here. Pace cars down and away. Green flag in the air. Great jump by the 03. 87 did not get going very well. Kevin Hack,
looked like he spun him
way
there.
out.
He's still having trouble. That definitely could spell disaster here, as the 91 of Allen had a little bit of a run, but he'll have no help as they're side by side down the backstretch. Oh, they touch. Kevin Hash going to have to dirt track it. There goes the 20.
Man, that's going to end the race here, and Jackson Allen is going to come away with the dual win. Kyle Weatherman P2, but yeah, I don't know what happened there, Gris. It looks like they just kind of door banged a little bit on the straightaway, and Hash got sent down, and then off the track, and I don't know if the 20 got together there with the 87 or what, but yeah, unfortunate way to end this race. I feel like we're gonna have a good finish there, but fortunately for Jackson Allen, he got out front at the right time, and he's gonna come away with the win here.
Yeah, usually when you get out like that, you create a big run, and Allen was trying to side draft as much as he could. It looked like the 03 actually comes up into the 91 there. Patrick Langley having a little trouble. He'll come across the nose of the 6. Like we'll try to get a word here with Jackson Allen just as soon as we finish it up. Make sure you tune in. We're going to stay right here with you as we switch over to number 2. We will cover what we can of that one once we get there. If they have any practice time left, we'll be on the air. We'll try to talk to Jackson Allen here, get you set up for duel number 2 here at Daytona, the Do It for Gayle. Kyle Weatherman, P3 finisher, joining us in the booth. We won't keep you long, man. We'll let you get over and spectate that second duel. But started out with a hell of a race, man. No cautions there for the longest. Green flag pit stops, and you guys kind of got caught stuck out behind, and those cautions come along and helped you out just a bit, and a little bit of carnage at the end, able to bring it home. P3, congrats.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We had a pretty decent strategy. Monin and Cherry and I both stayed out longer than everybody, and I think we actually, if it would have went green the whole time, we would have made it just barely on fuel. But obviously that caution came out and threw that out the window, and obviously there's pretty chaos there at the end, just obviously fighting for position, stuff like that. But still a fun race, and ready for the 500 next week.
All right, anybody else got anything for Kyle before we let him get back?
No, just good run there, man. I know it got pretty crazy there at the end. I'm sure at one point you thought it was kind of all out the window until we got that last caution that set up all those restarts. But way to hang in there and come away with a solid finish, and you'll have a solid starting spot for next week.
Yep, appreciate you putting this lead together. It's fun, and obviously I got to talk to Patrick a little bit, but other than that, we're all good, and it was fun. Appreciate it.
All right, man. Thank you for joining us, and good luck, bud. P2, Raymond Rittenauer, a little bit different than what we're used to seeing you, man. Used to seeing you guys kind of migrate to the back early. But tonight, was started out real good, long green flag runs, and then caution bug hit us. You able to keep up with the teammate there, the 03 Kevin Hash, you guys always work well together and cream of the crop. And a little bit uncharacteristic tonight. That top lane just seemed to be there's no other word for it but garbage.
It wasn't good at all tonight. Yeah, we
Yeah,
had our pit stops good there. Caught a late caution and missed a little miscommunication there at the end. I was sleeping. I couldn't really see Kevin take off because he was on the high side. So usually, if you're on the outside, you can see the inside guy take off, but I really couldn't see him. That's why I was a little late.
Alrighty, yeah, we normally we see even if the outside's not working that good, there's a few guys that you can get up there and do something. And that next to the last run there, Cherry was on the top with Allen. They were very aggressive and just got even with Ash for a moment and just couldn't get anything going on that top side. We'll see if anything changes in duel number 2, and we look forward to seeing how it unfolds next week when we get the big one. Good luck, man.
All right, thanks.
Alrighty, your winner, the 91 of Jackson Allen. There for a little while, man. Looks like y'all were caught back and may have been, sitting on the outside looking in. Their field spread out pretty good on that first green flag stop, and like it may have taken a miracle to get everything back together. And all of a sudden, here we come with some caution bug hit us. Cautions breed cautions, nonetheless, and which worked out great in your favor. Little bit of contact with the 03 as you went to make the pass there, but it seemed like tonight the top, just explained with Rittenauer, seemed like the top, no better word for it than just straight garbage.
Man, yeah, we were running like 11th, about halfway through the race. Actually, probably about 15 laps in, my Oculus lost tracking, and it was kind of glued. It's weird. My teammate Kelvin's been having the same problem. So if anybody knows how to fix that, I've been all over with Oculus support, trying to get it figured out. And last thing they told me was to update Windows, so they're no help. But so yeah, kind of just riding around back there. We had made a decent pit stop. I made up a bunch of ground on that first pit stop, but we were still way behind that front pack. I think I came in 11th and came out like 5th or something. So we were just kind of playing the straight line game, seeing if we can make any ground on them. I think they flubbered up their second pit stop and brought out the caution. And typically, once these things get that first caution, it's just a mess from then on. So yeah, we just kind of, it seems like the outside line would not go on any of the restarts, even the initial one. So that's going to be a challenge when we head into the big race, depending on where you're restarting at. And that could have just been where those guys were linked up there on the inside too. Who really knows with that? Yeah, man, we better than there. Just got in good position. I think they were trying to do a little setup deal where Rittenauer laid back and the 03 jumped out and then got down in line. And I knew that, so as soon as I saw the 03 go, I just hammered down. I planned on kind of pushing him out too far, which worked out. And he had a huge lead on us going into the corner, which was his demise, really. We went down in the corner, had the momentum. I pulled out. Then the daggone Oculus, man, when you turn into the bankings on these, it kind of stays level. So the whole car is just kind of, it feels like you're on the gyro cam. It's really hard to contend with. I just barely touched his right rear. We were able to keep it straight. And then coming out of the corner on the backstretch, I don't know if it was air or what. He's just kind of turns right into me. And I think he was able to save it and hang on for 4th or 5th or something. But yeah, that sucks. Not really anything on the line here except for 10 points or something. So we're going to end up starting where we qualified. So that's good. About all I can say about that. I'm not a fan of these little Gatorade duel things. I think we should qualify and rack them up and go. That's for big money sponsor stuff in the real world. I'm sure it put on a good show for you guys, but they're not fun to drive for the drivers, at least not on my part. So we'll get on to the big show, and we'll be starting third, and we'll have to continue with those guys some more, and hopefully we'll actually have some teammates in that one, so we can work together there and maybe do a little something.
All righty, man. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll look forward to having you back here next week, and look forward to getting there to the big one to see how it all unfolds. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back live here on the Iron Thunder Racing Network.
be a little more racy. We got some guys trying to make that outside line work. But I think the name of the game for this is probably just going to be fuel conservation. Try to make it as close to halfway as possible.
Yeah, and I tell you what, a lot of the guys were complaining that the last race, the outside lane wasn't really going on the restarts. It looks like, though, this time there's 4 of them up there in the front, a couple of guys straggling in the back trying to get it going, but that inside's still prevailing early on. Here we are now.
We talk about outside lane. I described it garbage. Looked like nobody could get up there and get anything going. We normally see it is a struggle, but tonight there's nothing happening in that outside lane.
And I think that's just a victim of circumstances here. These guys know it's not a short race, but it's not long either, and they just want to be there at the end. So a lot of guys are probably going to do a little bit more riding here just to start this, just to kind of get their feet wet, I would think. That's what I saw from the first dual race, at least.
Yeah, it still looks like a couple guys trying to ride up there, maybe make their way to the front. But, they're going to have to at least pit once or twice, definitely probably twice coming around here before they get down to the 40 laps. So just kind of riding right now, just kind of falling in line.
And joining me in the booth, I apologize. Interview went a little long, and iRacing decided to hide itself on the backdrop. But Josh Ball, the driver in number 7 and dual number 1, and driver to 69, Matt Hendricks, they both joined us up in the booth here, lap 4:40. And we'll give you a quick rundown right quick. Matt Quick, Storm Patterson, Christopher Gayle, Sawyer Ott, Bailey Curry, your top 5, and Roger Diebold, Donald Sadusky, Chad Nelson, Kelvin Mosier, Stephen Parsons in the 98 round out the top 10 as we got lap 5 on the board.
Yeah, look for these guys to pit possibly around, I would say anywhere from lap 17 if you can really push it to get to 19, but you have to save a lot of gas to get this on one stop, and I just don't see it happening.
Now, especially for the leaders out there, most of them are full throttle, and especially on the high side, is now we're looking like we got 5 cars, possibly 6 cars. Ooh, a little bit of a block there going to the outside, but starting to get a little bit more dicey on the outside there.
'36, 35 Sawyer Ott. Trying to make something work. Kelvin Mosier up there with him, and he'll be stuck out there in no man's land in that 43.
Tell you
89 of Matt Quick still leading. Trouble back there with cars. A little bit of connection issues in the back of the racetrack there, back of the speedway. Everybody got everything settled out as we see for the first time this year that 33 CRT small engine repair of Josh Cully out on the speedway.
One of those guys that loves to just lay in the weeds and be there right at the end. You don't hear a lot from him at the very beginning of races, but he does make his presence known at the end, whether through pitch strategy or just passing a lot of cars on the racetrack. He's definitely gotten his racecraft down to be there at the very end.
Definitely tell you what, this is way more racy than the first race. Looks like Sawyer's coming up on the outside, just making his way into second now with that 25 Richard Diebold right behind him.
Yeah, it looks like a tale of 2 different racetracks. Second lane never lasted this long, and I kind of speculated just a little bit as in years prior, you'd see guys get up to the top and really couldn't make it happen, but then another group would get up there and they were able to at least keep touch with the leaders, as we see the 35 of Sawyer Ott, Roger Diebold able to do that with Matt Quick there and Storm Patterson on the bottom.
Yeah, I think experience comes in, and it's a big factor in trying to get that outside line to work, because you need the exact right people and knowing your role as a pusher to not push in the corners and try to get that side draft. It's definitely a craft to get that outside line to work.
Yeah, like Matt was saying, definitely the outside, you got to be, everybody got to know what's going on. And, the people on the inside, if they're two experienced pushers, I know 89 Matt Quick definitely has a lot of experience here on these super speedways. Him, if the 63 is Storm Patterson, keeps up on the bottom, sometimes pretty hard to get around on the outside if they're tied up right, back to back.
And don't look out next week when we get all three of them on the racetrack. Matt Quick, Raymond Rittenauer, and Kevin Hash. A lot of laps run together, and those guys pretty much can know what the other's doing without communication, and that's a big key there. Another thing I'm noticing, I'm starting to see it a little more as the laps move on, but seeing those cars move laterally a lot more in the first duel than what we're seeing right now. Everybody seems to be able to hold that car pretty much straight and allowing a lot more side drafting than what we've seen in duel number one.
It looks like the lead pack here is going to be coming up on a lap car, so it's going to be interesting to see how everyone navigates a lap car at the super speedways for the first time this year.
Yeah, especially when they're, too wide going back a couple rows here. It looks like the 19 now, Donald Sandusky, jumps up to the outside right in front of Sawyer Ott, trying to go up to the number 3rd spot.
George Belfons Jr. given all the room he can. He'll make contact with an outside safer barrier. He'll keep the wheels pointing in the right direction as the field heads down the back straightaway.
Throw about the top 10 under a blanket here. They're still side by side, about 3-4 rows back, and we got one in the wall, 2 in the wall. It looks like he saves it, kind of mid-pack back.
Yeah, it looks like they're a little upset with that. It was that lap car trying to keep himself on the outside, and fortunately made a little contact there with one of the lead lap cars, but still racing neck and neck going. It's going to be side by side for the lead.
Brendan Klusterhuis, a heavy front end damage back there. All that transpired with the 52 of George Belfons Jr. And the action is at the front of the speedway. Matt Quick continues to hold on. He's led all 10 laps tonight of the 12 on the board.
I think the real name of the game right now is just, it's still that fuel conservation. You want to get as close to halfway as possible, because if this thing goes green, from green to checkered, you're going to have to do possibly 2 stops. I mean, if you can save, you might be able to get through on 1, but it's all about trying to get the right time to pit with the right people. You cannot pit by yourself here. You really need some guys to really pit with you to make it one of the better calls of the race.
Yeah, and it looks like we're working lap 13. Some of them got to start thinking, if they're going to be going at 17, you're going to have to start working to the bottom as they go around the lap car of the 09.
Something we saw in the first duel, a little bit treacherous getting on the pit road during green flag conditions, and some guys having trouble getting their car in the box. 44 Manan Raman had a heck of a time, lost a lot of time on the speedway, was able to make it up through those cautions, but you don't see a caution, one little slip up on pit road, you lose that draft, and that's the end of the night for you. Uncharacteristic there for the 09 of Matson. Not quite sure what was the matter with that machine, but he'll join George Belfons Jr. and go down a lap in the 24th spot. Nick Walker will be the next in 23rd as he just now enters the back straightaway as the field enters turn number 1.
Yeah, that pit window is about to come open here in about 2 laps. So just be ready for that, guys. And it looks like we're getting super racy here at the front of the field still.
Yeah, most of them still now, the 09 took somebody trying to take them on the outside. Had one car there is trying not to give up the outside line, but yeah, you're right. Coming up to that fuel window, you're going to have to get this single filed out or it could be some issues.
We've seen that first green flag stop in duel number 1. A hand, just about the entire field, decide to come down on together, so we'll have to keep an eye out on it. And right now, looks like those guys in that second lane starting to migrate to the bottom. We're getting even closer as it's getting dicey, and around the 24 goes. 35 Sawyer Odd involved. 97 of Drapeau turned sideways well after, and now the caution comes out with multiple cars involved on the backstretch.
Now this is going to throw a wrench in a lot of guys' plans here, because this is going to be super close to making it on this one stop. I mean, you're going to have to save tons of fuel here, but fortune favors the bold usually. So if you want to try to make it on one stop, it's going to be close.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like the 24 and 19 they're drifting towards each other, but bit of net code there looks like what actually determined it. Looks like the 24, 19, 97, 35 all have pretty significant damage.
And tough luck for Sawyer. Nowhere to go in that 35 machine as we watched a replay as he made heavy contact with the left quarter. And 97 of Eric Drapeau, as we watch him, did a hell of a job saving that race car back up into the speedway, and unfortunately contact from the 05 of Bailey Curry sent him into the 21 of Sam Green.
One silver lining for those guys with damage, though, is these pace laps here do take quite a bit of time, so you can get a lot of damage fixed under caution. I know personally for me, I've fixed about 1 minute and 10 seconds in my race just under caution. So these guys need to fix some damage. They'll have plenty of time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely plenty of time. And, some of them have significant damage, but some of that's on, side quarter panels in the rear. So a lot of them should be able to get it fixed up and be, good enough to push. I don't think anybody's too bad out there that they wouldn't be able to hang with the leaders.
See Matt Quick first into his stall. The 2-tire stop. He's down and away 6.7 seconds for Matt Quick.
Yeah, one thing we might see here is a lot of guys come down with 1 to go and top off just to kind of get closer to that window. If they feel like they can make it and stay in that draft. Just be ready for that if you guys see some guys ducking off onto pit road here.
Yeah, especially Matt said we didn't have this in the first duel at all, but I could see a couple people that are hanging in the back, just save fuel throughout this run. You just run half throttle and just stay up with the leaders, and you might be able to, if you pit right here before green, you might be able to make it all the way.
Shout out, Josh Cully Fan Club tuning in. Always great to have you here on the Iron Thunder Racing Network. Hope all is well as we're getting ready to start up a new season. Excited. Already have some excitement for the rush side over at Irwindale Speedway last night, and glad to be here at Daytona. We'll have both the ITRL Premier and Rush Series live from Daytona next Monday and Tuesday. We set the lineup here for the big one next week.
Yep, looks like a lot of the field here is coming down pit road just to top off. Looks like I see at least 8 or 9 cars trying to make it on this one stop.
Yeah, your leader, Matt Quick, came back down and definitely is getting some more fuel there. A couple of people stayed out. Roger, looks like Donald that had just been in that wreck, he stayed back out, and Storm Patterson around at the top 3.
See a couple of new faces up front. I need the numbers on those guys. 72, Chad Nelson, the outside row 2.
It'll be interesting to see how these last 20 laps go here. I know in the first duel we kind of kept it a little bit more tame until the end, but these guys have been pretty racy this whole time, so it'll be just interesting to see how they navigate this at the very end here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Roger and Donald and them up front might have had the good idea because, like in the last race, just like you guys had said prior, that cautions breed cautions, and unfortunately, we had a caution now, and could be coming again.
Pace car getting ready to tuck off here. Sawyer Ott catching up. Green is in the air. Roger Diebold. 19 of Donald Sadusky side by side as they head off into turn number 1. 63 Storm Patterson. He'll give the push to Diebold on the bottom side.
The cars side by side going out of 2 here, and it looks like the top 2 cars have broken away by about a car length, 2 car lengths and a half here down the backstretch.
Yeah, it looks like that 63 Storm Patterson, definitely a good pusher here. He's been in second place most of this race, and he kept that 25 out right in front for now.
Young driver Storm Patterson looking to capitalize on some early momentum. Start off the year, and right now doing well, running P2 behind the 25 of Diebold. Top lane struggling just a little bit with Donald Sadusky and the 72 of Chad Nelson. Sawyer Ott right there behind those guys.
Field works their way down the backstretch here. Looks like top 3 cars have kind of broken away, but it looks like that outside line is just holding pat about 3rd place, so it looks like they're not really making too much headway here.
Yeah, it looks like Donald Sadusky going around Donnie Davis here, going into turn 3. He's pulling up a little bit back on the bottom. Definitely the hard charger for the day. Started 23rd up to P3.
Lucier, who's flirting down there below that yellow line, he'll definitely need to keep those wheels above it, especially in the corners, as it upsets the handling of that race car tremendously. And a guy we hadn't talked much about, Tony Constantino in the 11th car, has moved up into the 6th spot.
Field has kind of worked its way single file, and as soon as I say that, another car pulls out of line. We're 2 by 2, about 3, 4 rows back. Top 2.
Oh, it's going around. Big one. Oh, 63, turn to 25. It looks like a bunch of cars are going to be caught up in this one.
Sawyer Ott once again, nowhere to go in that 35 machine. Oh.
That's just unfortunate for Roger Diebold there. It looks like it's just a push that's gone wrong. Pushing through the corners is obviously not the best to do here, but unfortunately it's got a lot of red race cars there at the front.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of net code too, because he did hit him off the corner there, not square, but that race car violently turned to the left a little more than what I would have anticipated.
Well, now if we see our leaders pit here, they should definitely be able to make it to the end as in lap 40. I can't say much past that, but it looks like the window is going to be open here to make it to the end on fuel.
Definitely what Matt said. It could definitely be here. You can make it from here on fuel for sure. But, some of these guys might stay out. I think you can actually, if we get another caution or two, see the leader coming in. Donnie Davis staying out, though. Matt Quick staying out. A couple of the leaders coming down, though.
Listen to radio chatter from the 63. definitely did not want to get into the back end of Debo. Those two guys were the class of the field early and were working great together. We work caution number 2 here on lap 24 of 40. 17 circuits remain as the 09 of Dave Matson will return to the lead lap.
Yeah, it just goes to show that there's no safe places here at Daytona. You can be at the front and get wrecked. You can be in the middle and get wrecked. You can be at the back and get wrecked. It's just a victim of circumstance for most of these guys, unfortunately.
Yeah, and unfortunately, like we said, Matt, cautions breed cautions, and we made it about 4 laps there on another caution. I don't think we're done either because, a couple of these guys have been riding in the back are probably hungry now, thinking that's what's going to be the same throughout the end of the race.
Quite a few heavy hitters going to be sidelined, so to speak, on this one. The 19 of Sadusky is pretty much done for the night. Sawyer out, heavy damage. It'll be all he can do. Keep that machine in racing fashion. We'll take a look at the damage on that machine as he sits on pit road. Pretty much missing the whole front bumper. A little bit of fender left on that machine and the hood, but that's about it. Driver I'm not too familiar with. Newcomer. Donnie Davis in that 81 will lead us back to green. Brandon Klusterhuis in that 94 will work to his outside, and Matt Quick has found his way back inside the top 3. Bailey Curry will be to his outside on that second row in that 05 machine.
Let's give a shout out to Jason Raudebush in the 96 running 7th. Usually he's pretty good at super speedways. The luck usually hasn't been on his side, but it looks like he's got a strong run going here in 7th. And it looks like the 93 also of Andy Koslova going from 25th to 5th here on the grid. So it looks like he's having a good night himself as well.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the inside definitely has the advantage here of Matt Quick being behind that Donnie Davis. Like I said, newcomer, but, Quick is definitely one of the super speedway experts here, and he probably will push him out to the lead.
Yep, shout out to Donnie the Dingo Davis leading this field back to the green. And also, George Balfans Jr., he was at one point a lap down during this race and making contact with the outside wall. He's made his way back up to 10th from 24th, so just be on the lookout for him. And Daniel Atkins, quite a newcomer, and he's in the 23 running P9 right now as we come back to green.
Speaking of Raudebush, hell of a guy, and just seemed like here late, luck not been on his side as we get back under green. Donnie Davis hammer down.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Quick's going to be able to clear that third place car. Oh, they're pulling back on the outside now, but definitely Donnie Davis leading the field down here the backstretch.
All Gas TV 94, Brendan Klusterhuis. A comical character on the radio. Right now trying to show his muscle on the outside of the 89 of Matt Quick as we head into the tribal to put lap 27 on the board. There'll be 14 to go.
Don't sleep on Bailey Curry here. He is in that second row outside line. Look for him to try to make a move here and try to win this race, but it looks like he's kind of caught right now.
We got 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back to about 12th place. Another good run on the outside here. That Bailey Curry going to be able to get the 94 past before turn 4, turn 3.
pretty interesting to note that Klusers did not have a front end on his car at one point, and he's out here almost leading the field. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I want to get a hold of his crew chief and crew guys and see, let them work on my car during the week. As they got a lot of work done in a short amount of time.
Interesting to note here that the leader's not really getting away from the field like he has in the past. I don't know if it's just because it's a different car or that outside line is becoming a little bit more competitive here with the cars we have up here. But we're still staying 2 by 2 basically throughout the whole field.
It looks like Bailey Curry's having a little bit of connection issue. He just went from 3rd or 4th. He's way back in the 20th spot now. Barely see him. Cars are having to swerve around. But as that's happening, we got a change for the lead. The 94 just took it on the bottom.
Tough break for Bailey. He has now lost the draft. The outside lane now led by the 63 of Storm Patterson. George Belfons Jr. from a lap down. The Pete second car lane on the top side.
It looks like the 05 is going to be begging for a caution here to really get caught up with the field. But, I mean, a silver lining could be he's so far back he will miss all the chaos that happens up the front. I mean, that's what happened to me in the last race. I got shucked out of the lead pack, and it kind of worked out in my favor because it junked about 6 or 7 cars, and I wasn't even close to it. So that's what he's hoping for. But looks like this race is getting crazy here. Everyone is side by side throughout the top 12 here.
Yeah, just like Matt said, 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back. Everybody getting into bumpers. I think he'll probably have a caution here.
Getting a little dicey. Kelvin Mosier in that 43. Running pretty much in the middle. Those 2 guys in front of him are a lane above. 63 of Storm Patterson will go to the lead off the nose of George Belfons Jr.
That'll be interesting to see what Storm tries to do here, if he stays with that bottom line or if he tries to block the top line with a good run. But he'll be the Pied Piper here, as they say out front.
Yeah, definitely. The first 2 cars making a little bit of a breakaway here. Made clear of the 3rd place car of George Belfons. Donnie Davis still holding strong though on the bottom. Matt Quick behind him. The outside's definitely gaining some steam now.
Fortunately for that 11 Constantino, he'll go down another lap here, make it 3. But there goes Donnie Davis through the grass.
Looks like he's gonna... never mind. Thought he could save it, but it didn't, unfortunately, look like he could. So this is gonna set us up for a nice little shootout here at the end. Looks like everyone will be able to make it on gas from here, so it's gonna be a track position game.
Yeah, Bailey got that luck that he needed. He got that caution. Unfortunately, though, it looks like we'll probably have 5 or 4 to go, and cautions breed caution, guys.
Tough break there on the replay for Matt Klusterhuis, newcomer into 13 machine, as the 81 of Davis comes up back up the racetrack. And not really, I don't know much more the 81 could have done really if you lock up the brakes in that grass. It seems, to me, it's most of the time you don't really lose any momentum. Go sliding. Bailey Curry barely sneaked away there. He had to go on the apron of the speedway.
I would expect a lot of guys at the front of the field to stay out here just to maintain that track position. But look for some guys at the back to maybe come down, put some fuel in it, get that spoiler out of the air a little bit, try to make some headway. Possibly in a lane that no one's trying to use, the super outside lane, or trying to force their way through the middle at the end here.
I think it might be interesting. I have a feeling for some reason that Storm's going to take the outside and let Matt Quick push him. But it's hard to give up the bottom, but I think with Matt Quick behind you, that's probably he might be up on the top.
We'll see if that's actually in the race car. Is that what he's thinking? Can he see that? Witty enough there, or right now he really doesn't have a teammate per se up there to work with him in that Palistrade Ford Mustang. Definitely looking for all the help he can get, and so far, speed those two cars have carried, they may be able to fend off the rest of the field if they get hooked up here.
Don't look now, but Josh Cully is running 10th. Expect for him to be at the front, barring any massive chaos in the field here. Look for him to kind of move up. He's always one to move up at the end and try to maximize his positions here.
Yeah, honestly, I think we're probably going to see some third lane, 3 wide action here because, there's, just like you said, people back in 10th, probably 12th, 14th, but still have decent cars that want to get up to the front for the finish here. So look for it to get a little crazy, I think.
Cully missing the rear deck lid of that machine, or rear bumper cover, I should say, and teammate not too far behind him, sitting in the 13th spot, Ryan Peplinsky. Hadn't mentioned him. Those two guys run good together. Usually are right there when they need to be. He carries that Eagle Disposal sponsorship this year. It's definitely going to be exciting way to finish this up, as we'll take the green with 6 to go.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if these guys mind their P's and Q's to the last lap, or if they try to get super aggressive here and try to cause chaos throughout the field here. I think that's more or less what we're going to be seeing here.
Yeah, definitely. I think the outside line, though, has a good chance here to get going, at least on the start. So, you might see some 2 wide all the way back and 3 wide, but it's anybody's ball game at this point. You could be back in, 15th, and you still got a good shot to win here.
Lights have been extinguished at the top of the iRacing.com Ford Mustang. Norm Patterson has elected that inside lane. To the outside goes the 94 Cluchos. That'll be George Belfons Jr., Matt Quick in row number 2. Row 3, Kelvin Mosier, Stephen Parsons.
One thing to note here is these guys are racing for championship points for the season-long championship here. The top 10 in this duel do get points here in descending order for the season-long championship. So there's more than just the win here tonight.
Look at
It's
that.
going to be real
push.
interesting. That 94 got a really good restart there. He was past the leader on the start, so I'm not sure if he's going to have a penalty or not.
Matt Quick definitely got him out there. And, we spoke earlier about Patterson getting up there, and that might have been the deal there. If they could have got hooked up, that big of a run would have sealed the fate there on some of these guys. They may have been able to walk away with it a little bit. But Stephen Parsons in that 98 will pull P3 as the 89 of Quick goes to the bottom.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's formed into one line here. Oh, and they're wrecking in the back.
24, Christopher Gayle. Bad luck continues as he will take her to the garage.
Looks like we're going to be seeing a green-white checkered here.
4 of old man Nick Walker. And that Louisiana hot sauce car might have got into the rear end Definitely did of the 24. Car almost going completely over Sam Green, and that was Bailey Curry again having to avoid another incident. Ford Patterson, George Belfons Jr., Stephen Parsons, Elvin Mosier, Brandon Klusterhuis, Matt Quick, Andy Consolova, Idabush, Dave Max, Eric Chapeau, your top 10. Oh, you're right. Nick Walker on pit road.
So it'll be interesting to see here. The outside line did get a huge run off the restart last time around. It'll be interesting to see with a little bit of a different lineup here at the front what line is going to prevail. I'm going to say it's probably going to be the bottom line. Stefan is a pretty good pusher out there, so just be aware of what we got going up at the front.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to win from behind him, though. So I feel like they might go single file for a little bit, but they're going to jump up. With a green-white checker, they don't have too much time. And, it could. I bet you guys $1. I don't think we're going to make it to the checkers.
I'm hoping we do, but statistically, I don't think we're going to make it too far past the start-finish line here.
Yeah, if I had to guess, the pace cars can only lead us past the start-finish line to win this race.
Unfortunately, that might be the case, but with these top 5, there's definitely some chance for any of them to win. Like we said, even back to probably 10th at this point, if we stay green, they have a chance to get up to the front and win. It's just going to be all a matter of luck if everybody can keep from spinning each other or getting in an accident or even neck code at this point. But hopefully we'll make it all the way. Have a good finish.
'63 of Storm Patterson wouldn't mind for a quick early caution, as long as he can keep that machine out in front of George Belfons Jr. We're going to restart to the outside. Stephen Parsons will be inside row number 2. Inside will be 43 of Kelvin Mosier. Now Klusterhuis of Brandon. Matt Quick. 6 of Jason Ridebush sitting there in 8th. Dave Matson. I believe he was 2 laps down at one time, running 9th.
And George Belfans Jr. was also a lap down in the wall. A lot of guys heated at him, and now he's back up to running 2nd.
That's pretty incredible. He's definitely the biggest gainer of the night, starting P24. But it's gonna get dicey here coming to the green. You got Matt Quick up there, and Jason Rodenbosch, like you said. I don't see them not taking a 3 wide if they don't have the chance.
Car gonna duck off to the safety of pit road. 63 of Patterson back in the gas.
Looks like the top line has a little bit more formed, and as soon as I say that, everyone jumps down to the bottom. And it looks like we got a good 6 cars versus 4 going into turn 1 here.
Yeah, the bottom line's definitely coming. Matt Quick jumped down there trying to look through wide, but they should have a runoff too.
Oh, Klusterhuis trying to squeeze Stephen Parsons up to that second lane. Parsons will be able to duck back in, single file. There's Belfons Jr. trying to get the train moving on the top side.
Yeah, I think Stephen Parsons here is probably just trying to set Storm up to get a huge run down the backstretch and really trying to make this one his own win here rather than trying to push him to the victory. It doesn't look like there's anything left in that top lane to really get him up there, unfortunately.
Yeah, just
Round
like here,
goes
we're
Bailey
going
Curry.
3 wide. Bailey Curry 3 wide up here in the front. No caution come out. No caution. Staying with it. Oh, they're wrecking again. Oh, everybody kind of keeping it. No, that's going to be it.
Bush around. Still racing down the back straight. There goes Stephen Parsons off the nose of the 94. He'll go to the inside. Here comes Kelvin Mosier on the outside. He'll have a push from the 93. Still leading out of turn number 4. Here's the 63 of Storm Patterson. Big run for Mosier. Oh, I believe Kelvin Mosier got him at the line. What a hell of a finish there. Big run.
Impressive run there at the end for the 43. I didn't think he had enough. I didn't think he had enough steam there at the end, but it looks like he had just enough by 4/100ths of a second.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looked like the second place car there after that spin on the backstretch definitely had too much of a gap there. The 94 on the 63 coming out of 3 and going out of 4, and that 43 was able to power to the win.
Definitely fooled us all. Started wrecking there after the white flag, but luckily we're able to make it to that white flag, and glad we did because the finish did not disappoint. Kelvin Mosier in that 43 machine celebrating his dual number 2 win, and we'll get him up in the booth. Storm Patterson will be P2, Andy Kosalova in that 93.
Yeah, shout out to longtime competitor Daniel Atkins coming home with that last point. This is probably one of his better finishes of his ITRL Premier Series career, even though it was in a duel. But shout out to him for getting a point here tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely a good push here at the end. You know, they were 3 wide coming to the checkered, but yeah, that last lap was definitely full of excitement, that's for sure. But, you know, the 43 pulled away with the win.
And we'll get these guys up in here and let Mr. Ball and Hendricks interview these guys. We'll start with a 93. Andy Kosalova. Take it away, Matt.
Hey,
Andy,
how you doing?
Great run out there tonight, bud. So it looked like at the beginning of the race, a lot of guys were just minding their P's and Q's, but it was side-by-side racing for most of the race. Just walk us through your strategy for this great finish you had tonight.
The beginning, I was trying to make it on one pit stop, but it didn't look like it was going to work out that way. And then, obviously, we ended up getting those cautions because I was just trying to hang out in the back and stay in the draft and only have to pit once. And then toward the end, we got some wrecks there. I got up to restarting like 5th at one point, and then we had another caution, and I was like 7th. And then at the end, I got a good shot to go up the outside there and shove the 43 through the tri-oval. Glad it stuck because I hit him really hard.
Awesome. So how does this translate to next week's race? You already got some points here. You got, it looks like 8 points already for the championship. How does this kind of fuel you for next week in the big race?
Well, hopefully just ride around and not get killed in the beginning and then be there at the end. I mean, I have bad luck in these. I get hit by a lot of people. Even my teammates, a lot of times it seems we get wrapped up in stuff at the speedways, but I'll just try to take it easy a little bit and see where I end up toward the end and then go for it again like I did tonight. We'll see if it turns out as good or better.
Absolutely. Is there anybody you want to thank before we switch it off here?
I guess Paul Smith for reminding me that this league was starting tonight. I wasn't even planning on running it. I forgot about it. So, and then he'll be my teammate, him and Sam Green. So, those guys.
Awesome, man. Well, great run tonight, and we'll just see you next week.
All right. Thanks, man.
Ready that was Eddie Costello in the 93. Joining us in the booth now, the 63 of Storm Patterson. Good run, bud. Stayed up there most of the night, and then out of nowhere, here comes 93 and the 43. We'll let Matt Hendricks take it away from here. Congratulations on P2.
Thanks, Paul.
Storm, amazing run, bud. Looks like you ran into some trouble there in the middle of the race. Just walk us through your strategy here. I know you had one teammate here in the race, me and Langley being the other ones being in the other duel. Being down a couple guys, what was your strategy here for this race?
Well, entering the race, we acknowledged that, and I think we talked about it in our team debrief. But yeah, coming in, we were working with a couple of the other Ford cars and some of the JCOM guys and GCOM, Gayle and Brandon both included, and Roger. Hated to spin Roger there in the middle of the race. That sucked. Yeah. Anyways, we just planned on coming into this race. We just planned on kind of riding. For me personally, we rid for most of the race, and then we got to the lead after we tangled up with Roger, and then I think we pitted, and then we just ran back to the lead there, and we were working with Brandon, and then things just happened on the restart. I timed it wrong, and he fell back because the top side was really unevenly matched. But yeah, basically we didn't have a lot of help there at the end, especially with the 98 blinking out. I think that definitely cost us the race there because the inside line backed up and the outside just got such a run, and then I kind of cost myself whenever I moved up a little bit, got really loose, and but yeah, the strategy was to win, and we almost won, but can't seem to figure out how to win on these super speedways in this league. Seems to either finish second or wreck out every time.
Yeah, and I'm going to throw it over to Josh here for the next question.
Yeah, I mean, you were out front for the last basically 10 laps. I mean, you and Matt Quick pretty much dominated the race from what I saw. Anything else you thought you could have done, throwing a block up there on the last lap, or are you just trying to make it to next week?
Well, we wanted to win. Having a better starting spot would have definitely helped, but it is a duel, and plus coming in knowing this could also give us some points definitely gave us the incentive to go out and win. And we got decent points, and we're gonna get a decent starting spot, but wish we could have done one better. But yeah, I don't think blocking would have been necessarily the right decision there if the 98 would have blinked out. And yeah, I tried to move up because I thought moving up a little bit would help, but it obviously didn't because I got really loose. But yeah, it's heartbreaking for sure. Speaking of, this isn't the first time we've finished second here at a super speedway in this league.
Awesome, man. Is there anybody you'd like to thank for this amazing finish you had here?
Yeah, everyone back at Patterson Langley Racing, Powerstrade.com, Rep Sports, Raise Energy, all the folks watching on our Discord at Bruh Just Cerned. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for the broadcast, Chris.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and look forward to getting on the next week. Good luck, buddy.
Yes, sir. We'll go grab the dub there.
Alrighty, we probably let him simmer down there long enough. Bring up now the 43 of Kelvin Mosier. Take it away, Matt.
How about that? First one of the season. Too bad it's just a duel. Got lucky there on the outside, though. I didn't think we were going to be able to pull it off, but we got a hell of a push and ended up first. We'll see where that puts us. Where is that going to put us for the start of next week? Do you know?
Pretty sure that should put you on the front row. or if not, right behind the front row. So what was your strategy there going down and from that last caution to the end there? Just trying to get that push, or did you have something else in mind?
No, the biggest goal was to stay in the top 5 or 6, make sure we had enough fuel to the end, and just try to steer clear of any crashes that come out, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, Kevin, I saw you were P6 coming to the white flag. Did you think you were going to get to first when you came around for the checkered, or what was going through your mind?
When I started P6 there, I was behind a crash car. I was just trying to figure out how I was going to get around that. I was pushing that car earlier, but it kind of threw me off into the inside lane, caused a mess. Caution came out, but that was for earlier. Big goal was just to get around it and then pedal down and don't let up.
And I tell you what, always a blast to have you in the booth, and I look forward to having you in the booth more often. That'll put you starting outside second row, I do believe, for the big one. And as any different strategy you may have took from tonight, it'll help you change your mind that you may have had coming into tonight, next week.
Well, originally we were going to sit in the back and try to steer clear of any crashes that came out, but since we're starting up front, we're going to try to stay up front, avoid the big one, and charge hard.
Alrighty, we look forward to coming back to Daytona. We'll have 2 action-packed nights at Daytona. Good luck at the big one.
Thank you. Over and out. See you guys.
Righty, that was your winner, 43 of Kelvin Mosier. Hey, man, this second duel has been a blast, man. Fun to work with you, Josh, and Matt. It was definitely a fun one, and I think the fans got their money's worth there on that last lap.
Absolutely. That one did not disappoint. And it's going to be interesting to see how the dual races transfer over to the race next week, because we saw a lot of chaos here in the middle laps. I'm going to say it's probably going to be a little bit more tamed for the first 40 laps there, but hard telling, not knowing. And like I said before, you can get wrecked at the front, you can get wrecked in the middle, and you can get wrecked at the back. It's just a matter of circumstances.
Yeah, going off what Matt said, we saw 2 completely different races here tonight. The first race, pretty much single file all the way until like lap 19, the first pit stops. And then, we had a caution, had some more wrecks. But this second duel, it was pretty much action-packed from lap 5 on.
Once again, I do appreciate both of you for taking your time out to join me up in the booth. And anytime you guys are willing and able, the booth is always open, and glad to have you back at any time. It's definitely nice not being up here by your lonesome all the time. And anticipation was really excited to start last week with the Rush series, and anticipation. We get both of these series at Daytona next week. Super, super excited. Can't wait till we get back here on Monday night to see what transpires in the Rush side, and definitely the big one here for the Premier Series. Big shout out to Sawyer and all the drivers, all the league drivers, everybody from top to bottom. It takes everybody to make it happen. We're going to wrap it up here from Daytona International Speedway, live on the Iron Thunder Racing Network. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, hit that bell notification button. That way you know when we go live. And also, weekly highlights should be released at least the day before the next race. Keep an eye on those. They'll be uploaded by themselves. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and notifications so you'll know when highlights are live as well. For Josh Ball, Matt Hendricks, I'm Jonathan Grissom. Y'all keep showing up. We'll keep showing out. Good night, everybody.